In this tutorial, we will review how to grade with a rubric in Canvas. This demonstration is divided into two sections. Part 1 addresses setting up the rubric for assessment. Part 2 addresses using the rubric for grading. Rubrics are helpful for assessing student work because they allow the professor to be consistent with grading practices. Rubrics allow for transparency with the students about how their grades were calculated. And rubrics are necessary for institutional assessment at the college. Grading with a rubric in Canvas is best done on the web-based platform rather than the Canvas Teacher app. The mobile app may show the rubric differently. Part 1. Setting up the rubric for assessment. You can create a new rubric by selecting the assignment and scrolling down to the bottom of the page. Look for the Add Rubric button. Adding a rubric to a discussion is slightly different than adding a rubric to an assignment because it doesn't have the Add Rubric button that was visible in the Canvas assignment. If you are adding a rubric to a discussion in Canvas, you will need to select the discussion. Select the button with the 3 dots and then select Add Rubric. If you are using a rubric for institutional assessment, you should locate the rubric. You may have been given instructions for importing the rubric from the Department of Learning Assessment. Assuming you have imported it into your Canvas course section, you can apply the rubric to an assignment by selecting Add Rubric. And select the link titled Find a Rubric. Here you will see multiple scroll bars. If you've already imported the rubric into the course that you are currently working in, make sure that the course is selected in the first column on the left. The second column will have the list of all the rubrics within that course. You will receive an abridged preview of the rubric in the third column. Scroll down to the bottom of this section to select the Use This Rubric button. If you have the rubric saved in another course or sandbox and you want to share it with this course, select the course in the left column that has the rubric you wish to use. You can then locate the rubric in the second column and select the Use This Rubric button on the bottom of the third column. Before using a rubric for assessment, review the rubric content and settings by scrolling down to the rubric and clicking the pencil icon for editing. If the rubric is used for institutional assessment, you should not edit any of the text in the rubric. However, you may edit the points for grading purposes. Check to ensure the institutional outcomes are present in the rubric. These outcomes are denoted by this bullseye symbol. If the institutional outcomes are not present, the rubric will need to be reloaded. Confirm the point values and/or point ranges are correct. Edit the point values by clicking on the pencil icon. Here you can edit the points accordingly. You can also edit the total sum for each criteria on the right-hand side. If you would like to grade your students with a ranged value, select the range checkbox, and you can edit the point values accordingly. At the bottom of the rubric, you'll see a list of checkboxes. Check the Use This Rubric for Assignment Grading checkbox. Ensure this is selected if you plan on having the points that are totaled from the rubric to be used for the student's grade. Click Update Rubric to ensure that changes are saved for the rubric.